Greetings and welcome to another Indie Game of the Week here at Words About Games, a weekly series of videos where we take a look at an upcoming indie game that's caught our attention, shine a spotlight on it, and talk a little bit about why it looks potentially awesome. As always, if you're intrigued by the game we're talking about, you can find a full suite of links to learn more in the description below the video. Today we're taking a look at Bee Simulator. I generally tend to avoid games with the word simulator in the title lately. What was once an accurate description of the type of game you can find has morphed in the past few years into meme games, or games that are barely games at all and just generally aren't worth even looking at. Some of those jokey games have been surprisingly great, like Shower with Your Dad Simulator, and there are still actually decent simulator games, like PC Building Simulator, but by and large, it's a word that conjures fear of what I might find if I try to play. Enter Bee Simulator. A game that looks so earnest and surprisingly delightful that I had to talk about it as an indie game of the week. This isn't a lame joke as far as I can tell, and actually looks like it could be quite a fun game. As the name of the game suggests, you'll take the role of a bee, one part of a beehive in what the developer is describing as a realistic representation of a place inspired by Central Park in New York City. The crux of the single-player experience is, depressingly, pulled from real life. You're part of a hive that is under threat, as humans want to cut down the tree that your beehive calls home, because humans suck. You've got to, I assume, find a way to save your hive from destruction. That's just one of the modes available. Bee Simulator will also feature a free exploration mode that will let you simply exist as a bee in the Central Park-inspired environment, exploring the world at your leisure from this novel and very different perspective, which sounds like it could be a fascinating experience. There are tons of great exploration-focused games, but how many of them let you explore from the perspective of a bee? This leads quite nicely into how gorgeous the game actually looks and how cool the different environments look like they'll be to explore. Included in the trailer and accompanying screenshots are a variety of different places that your bee will be able to visit, including an amusement park, wooded areas, a cavern, and the beehive itself. It looks like it could be a fascinating world to explore from such a unique perspective. Exploration looks key here, but there are a few things to actually do while you're buzzing around. While it's unclear how you'll go about actually saving your beehive from destruction, Bee Simulator's store page mentions possible interactions with people, plants, animals, and insects. It also sounds as though you'll receive quests of some kind from the Queen, and again, doing all this from the perspective of a bee sounds incredibly intriguing. The description does mention a few specifics, chief among them, bee dancing. Yep, bee dancing. You'll be able to show off your sweet airborne moves to your sisters and have them mirror them. There's also pollen picking, racing, and fighting off less friendly opponents, like wasps, also known as nature's bastards. Also, did I mention there's bee dancing? Because there's bee dancing. One thing Bee Simulator's devs are keen to point out is the game's lack of violence, which seems about right given the rest of the game's features, making this a more earnest experience that could be a great family game, particularly thanks to the inclusion of multiplayer that even comes with additional maps. Bee Simulator bucks the recent trend of the simulator genre. It's not a meme game or something that exists to be offensive. Instead, this looks like a relaxing, delightful game that allows you to experience a beautiful world from the perspective of a bee. It looks and sounds fascinating, and I'm eagerly awaiting its release sometime in 2019.
An extraordinary world of miniature creatures. A tiny universe inhabited by a huge family, very similar to ours. A world full of beauty and secrets to discover, as well as everyday duties. Work to do, and enemies to defeat. But no tale would be complete without a series of unfortunate events. Become a tiny hero and take on an epic adventure of miniature proportions.